Hey everyone and welcome back to Automation. So today we're going to be turning this car that I made 2 cars ago into a sort of dystopian cyberpunk vehicle based on the Ninja Gaiden 4 universe. Full disclosure, Microsoft sent me a key to this game, but there was no obligations or anything like that. I just enjoyed my time with it, especially the world and the ridiculous dark and gritty nature of it. And I thought, you know what? Let's just make a car in that universe. I've done cyberpunk before. I just did Fallout recently. Let's change it up. This is out of my comfort zone, but it's going to be fun. Now, I don't tend to play these types of games. I'm talking about Ninja Gaiden 4 here. I am more of a JRPG slash racing game kind of guy, and I tend to like arcade racing games best. Stuff like Flat Out, Burnout. Those are my jam. Also, MotorStorm. Rest in peace. I wish it would come back. But JRPGs are really where I shine, and that's where I spend most of my game time. I play Yakuza games like a Dragon, Persona, and going to be branching off into some other things once I finish all the Yakuza games. It takes ages when you're a father, okay? I prioritize my children over gaming. But yeah, every once in a while I get an opportunity to play something new, and that's kind of what happened with this. Microsoft offered me a key to this game, and I said, it's not really my kind of game, but let's go for it. And I enjoyed my 2 hours with it so far, and that's where we are. So let's make something cool. So this car, if you remember, has a 5.5 liter V8. I have a bit of a thing with V8s, and that's not going to change. Although I think in this universe it doesn't make a ton of sense for vehicles to be actual like combustion powered, so we're going to be converting it to electric. Oh no. But yeah, it's an all-wheel drive 6-speed manual, basically a muscle coupe. And I think that this is a perfect candidate for a sort of dystopian, gritty, basically ridiculously dark and bloody universe. So let's do it. Just so you're aware, it is very easy to convert your car to EV in this game, although it's not going to actually have an effect until it's exported into beamng. But what you do is you go to the description, you go exclamation mark, EV exclamation mark, and then you're done. Okay, so last time I tried to make this car fairly realistic, I believe, so it's made out of steel. It's like monocoque chassis and stuff like that. I feel like for the cyberpunk rendition of it, or I guess Ninja Gaiden rendition of it, I just want to go all out with exotic materials and make it as weird as possible. Another way to change it up from the base model that I've been using. But carbon fiber just seems right for this universe. Let's go for a fully monocoque chassis, and again, carbon fiber. The entire car is carbon. I'm going to keep the front longitudinal engine, and everything else is going to be fine there. Nothing to change here. Paint. Now this is pretty important. I was thinking about this a lot. Now the obvious answer is to make it black, because yeah, the entire universe is black, except for that witch, who may or may not be the main draw of the game, let's be honest. But I'm going to modify this color to be a little bit different. And instead of going straight black, I'm going to go for a gray, essentially. And I thought about this as well. A high shine gray, I think, is what we need. High flake, high shine. Just very shiny overall, and fairly realistic looking paint. Looks nice. But that means I'm going to have to do a lot more to get this car to stand out, because you're not going to be able to see many features. It's all going to be blended in. So one of the ways I thought about doing that was to create a secondary paint scheme and have it be, I mean, white. It looks not quite right, but maybe a slightly lighter gray. So we have two-tone gray, essentially. That's not going to work, but something like this, I think, would be really cool. Again, high shine, high flake, but the top of this and the hood are going to be a light gray. Essentially what I'm trying to do here is as much as I can with various black colors, because it's just difficult to to work with black and black on black on black. I don't know. Basically that kind of feature just disguises all of the little bumps and cracks in the car, and it basically hides all of the detail. That's why people don't like black wheels. It just hides the detail. However, in this case, I think it can be acceptable. Also, if we change the wheels to that color, that gives it quite an interesting look as well. Okay, as far as paint goes, she done. Now, before we get into the fixtures, I just wanted to mention that I have finally, after all these years, and so many people requesting this, created a collection of all of my mods on Steam. It's the official automotive flux collection, and then I have in brackets November 2025. So what I'll do is every couple months, whenever I update my mods, I will update the collection, and then you can have basically all of the mods that I have anytime that I update mine. But that is currently every mod I have in the game. There are over 600 mods. It's like 40 something gigabytes of mods, so just be warned that yeah, you're going to need some space on your hard drive. Now, not all of them work. I have not taken the time to vet every mod. It's just that is the list that I have. So yeah, go ahead and download that at the link in the description, and yeah, you'll have every mod I have. Now this car only actually has 25 fixtures on it, which sounds like very little, but a lot of them are doubled up, so I guess it sort of evens out. 25 fixtures is not really that much. I don't intend to add too much more today, but I do think that there is some stuff that needs to be changed to get this style working properly. I've got some interesting ideas. At least I hope they're interesting to you. Yeah, they're interesting to me. So the car doesn't need exhaust anymore because the exhaust is unnecessary. What I'm going to do is go into the paint and change the exhaust to be transparent. So the exhaust pipes and stuff are basically just not there because we don't need it. It doesn't exist on this car. It's technically an EV now. I just quickly made another small change. The glass is fully opaque as well, so you can't see through it. I feel like that is also thematic, which means it doesn't need an interior. That's my way of getting out of doing an interior. So I had this idea essentially to make a lot of the fixtures on this car just glowing. So like this piece here is a glowing red with I guess a glass panel behind it. I don't know if this is going to look decent in beamng, but I want to try it. I feel like it could be cool. And the same thing is going to happen to this as well. There you go. Very glowy fixture piece, but very cool as well, I think. I don't know. I think that's cool. I feel like I need to do more with the glowing aesthetic of this car. There's going to be some very interesting lights going on here, and I have some more ideas as well, so we'll get into that. Now, the look of like the fangs and stuff is pretty neat and I think very on brand, so I'm going to try to do more with that too. We'll see how it goes. It's kind of funny to have a sunroof in a universe where it's constantly raining. Well, I'll keep it in there for style, I think. So another thing I was thinking about is basically taking this suspension and just dropping it directly onto the floor. I know that this is probably not gonna work that well. It's basically gonna be scraping, but it'll be cool because I'm hoping to do some giant over fenders as well. Let's do it. Basically on the ground. Oh, that looks pretty good slammed. Okay, some time has passed and I've basically just been prototyping some ideas, so let me walk you through what I've come up with. Basically, over fenders. Also, massive, very wide wheels. I've got fangs on the back, which I'm trying to model sort of off the main character's stuff, because he's got fangs. So these need to be a little bit bigger. And then drop down something like this. And that is pretty darn cool, I think. That is just really cool in my mind. I'm going to have to do a whole new diffuser on the back because I'm also cutting the back short. At least I'm trying to. I'm going to work on getting rid of the underside here. We're actually still at the same amount of fixtures as before. It's just now it's used differently. And I've cut some things off as well. This door handle's gone. The fuel port is back here for charging. I don't know. Trying to make it a little bit more complete. Now the wheels do cut into the lights, and I am going to have to change these lights as well. They're cool, but they're just not going to work for this. And then everything up at the front, I haven't even touched it yet, so we got some work to do. I had a thought with the wheels, and I want to just test it out. I've picked these sort of, what are these called? Turbofans? Killjoy wheels? Extremely cool stuff. But what if we like took some of it and made it glowing? Wouldn't that be cool? Okay, I'll admit I'm taking a few risks with these wheels because I just feel like I need to take more risks with this car. It's not quite hitting the highs that I wanted to hit, so this is hologram iridescent wheels, which is very out there and I think pretty darn cool. Hopefully that sort of works well with the rest of the build as we go through it, but as of now, they are striking, to say the least. Okay, there's a clean bumper cut for you, and that definitely changes the look of the car pretty drastically. Yeah, that's kind of nuts. I don't know, I gotta fill in that gap now. There has to be something there. But I also want to put a wing on the car. It needs to be kind of overdone in the way that the characters are in this game. Now that is interesting. That gives me some pause. Because potentially I could just extend the front end of this car out a considerable amount to fit these over fenders, or kind of just leave it as is. This is a whack build now. This is just getting out of hand. But wacky is good, honestly, and I feel like this might be the direction that this car needs to go. It needs to be extreme, in my mind. It just has to have something about it that really has it standing out from the previous build. Wow. She wide now. Okay, let me get back to you. I've got some plans here. Okay, I had the big wig on there, and then I put this lip on there, and I thought, wow, I don't know if I can do the big wig anymore when this lip is so spicy. That is just a perfect lip for this car, and it looks so darn good, just like that. I'm so pleased with it. Okay, what I gotta do though is still fill in this gap and a few other things. We don't need the 5.5 thing anymore, and a lot of this vent stuff is honestly just decoration at this point because, yeah, it's electric now. One of my favorite things to do is, instead of putting real side skirts on cars, just to take a lip from the lip section like this one and build my own. One of the tough things about risks are that they are risky, and this is a risky maneuver because some of you may not agree with me on this aspect of the build, but I want you to hold your judgment just for a little bit because I have completed the front end. Wait a minute, you may say, there are no lights on the front. There is in fact nothing on the front at all. It is just plain. And yes, it is. Yes, it is. I've actually cut the total fixture count down because I deleted the entire front end. We don't need any of that, I don't think. Being an electric car, it doesn't really need a grille. And being futuristic, I mean, the lights are hidden, I guess? I haven't come up with good lights yet, but this is potentially going to be the new front end of this car. Pretty darn wild. Essentially what this is these fenders, fender number 2, widened to the point that they are meshing together at the front and around the top as well. Plus I have this piece here which sort of gives it a little bit of a definition in the front, I guess, to make it stand out more, but look at that. Now I do want to make some I do want to make some small tweaks like moving things around, and there's a little bit of a cut here that needs to be made, but other than that, like, this is pretty darn cool just by itself. Like, take a look at this car. It's almost unrecognizable. Like, there's definitely still some aspects here of the original, but this car has changed drastically for hopefully the better. I'm very curious what your opinion is on this. My wife came in and she said that is looking pretty cool, so that's the only approval I need. Other than that, though, this car is definitely different. Now, I thought about doing a diffuser on the back, and I forgot about it, so I gotta do that quick. But other than that, is it done? I gotta be careful not to over-design this. It really has to be minimalistic, yet gritty, and I feel like I hit that mark. Hopefully you do too. I don't know. This is a very unique vehicle in my lineup, and something that is very odd as well. But it's such a cool shape. I don't know. That's just my opinion. It's not perfect, but it's such a cool little shape. Man. Okay, let me finish it up. Okay, and there it is. That is the final design for this car, at least until I do a base model version of the original. 23 fixtures, not a lot going on with it. That's 2 less than before, and still, I feel like it's enough difference to really make it worthwhile for you to see. Now, I could cut down some more stuff. Windshield wipers, I was like, wait a second, it's raining all the time. We need something to clean off the windshield. Other than that, though, I feel like it's done, and yeah, I need it could use an interior, of course, but I don't know, blackened, like fully blackened windows feels right on this. That was one of my ideas from the start. I joked about saying that that was so I could get out of doing an interior, which is somewhat true, but at the same time, it's also thematic, so I'm going with it. I'm sticking to that for now. Now, one of the things we haven't done at all yet is touch power, and I need to get with that soon here. It's going to be the same engine that it had before. I'm just going to update some of the stuff just to make it a little more futuristic, and hopefully maybe a little bit more power. I don't know, like, because again it's electric, it doesn't really matter how much power it has. This thing has like 500 some odd horsepower already. If we go to the summary, it's lightened by quite a bit compared to its predecessor. We're down to 16 something kilos, and we can get that down even further just by changing things like the wheels to carbon fiber and adjusting the lightness of it as well, which it currently is very light. Now it's down to 1448, so again, big power, not necessary in all cases. Now I do want to try some small stuff. Instead of making this just like a cast iron block, let's go ahead and make it a magnesium block. Sorry, an aluminum billet block I think would probably be best. It is pushrod currently. I know that's super old school. I'm just going to give it billet stuff, and now we're making more power, quite a bit more power in fact, which will allow me to change things to billet steel flat plane crank, titanium conrods, and probably more RPM out of that. Let's see. Yeah, I'm nowhere near the limits of this engine, so it makes it a lot easier for me to just turn things up, which I like. 633 horsepower with a little bit more displacement as well. It's still running performance gas, but you know, I mean, if I switched it to nitromethane, it would be insane. This doesn't matter again because it's electric, but yeah. For the sake of having something that's a little bit louder, I'm just going to cut all the exhaust off of it, which means our headers are a little bit restrictive, and I can increase the size of those to get more power. Just a little bit more, it's not crazy. Okay, with that we make 730 horsepower. I think that's enough for this engine. Basically everything is good. I mean, it's not super well tuned, but it is decent enough. Let's hear this thing roar to life with all of its billet steel niceness. Fancy, fancy stuff in here. And that is the last time you'll hear that run because it is not going to be gas in beamng. Okay, that's good enough. So now that I've changed that stuff, I probably need to change the gearing and the tuning and everything as well. So let me just run through that real quick. Okay, the car will do 0 to 100 in 2.6 seconds. It now has an 8-speed dual clutch with an electric LSD. It is mildly front bias in its drivetrain, but that also is better power split per power and weight distribution. I don't know. It works well in this game the way that this game goes. I want to switch to race tires. I feel like that'll just give us better grip and everything overall. These tires are... It's almost touching the ground, this car. It's going to be shockingly hard to drive over anything rough with this. But it has wet tires on right now. Let's just try intermediates with that setup, and then obviously they'll be as big as they can possibly be as well. These tires are massive. It's gigantic wheels on this car. I made them massive by style, and I also made the rims bigger too, just so I don't have to modify this. There we go, 2.4 seconds now to 100. That is ridiculously quick. 6 pistons in the front, 4 in the back, which is way overkill. Just gonna give it a race diffuser as well, just to give it a little bit of something, because I feel like it's gonna struggle otherwise. Hopefully this is okay. I changed up the interior, so it's 4 seats, raced interior, but still luxury stuff in there too. And everything else here is going to stay the same. This will be the same as well. Suspension tuning, just reset it as well. Absolutely wild car in terms of stance. Okay, I think that's it for this car. It's been over an hour, which is pretty much where I usually cap things off before I go crazy. Except with that Fallout car, I was losing my mind designing that sucker last time. Check that video out, by the way, that was a lot of fun. Let's get this thing into beamng and see how it drives. So we're here on the grid map, just because I don't think that car is going to have a chance anywhere else at the moment because of how low it is. To refresh your mind, this is the original car that this is based on, and the differences are significant. You can see, obviously, the front end is drastic. That's what she used to look like. The stance is also definitely different. And the new car is quite a bit longer than the old one as well, which I just think is really cool. Overall, a big change. Probably the best thing about automation is to see what different people can do with different bodies. And one of my future showcase ideas, although I don't have any time for a showcase at the moment, is to basically give all of you one of these cars and say, modify it. Just use this as a basis to come up with something good, but you need to keep certain features in check, just so it's the same as what it was originally. I think that would be a lot of fun. But this thing is an example of that, and yeah, it's absolutely wicked. So let's take it out for a spin with its fancy EV goodness. Now, this is what the V8 sounds like normally, with its manual transmission. Not really a fast vehicle, but not slow either. This car is meant to be somewhat realistic, and therefore is, yeah, fairly normal, I guess. 200 kilometers an hour is still crazy, though. Way too much speed. Now, when we get to this car here, we do get some unique stuff, in the sense that it should be EV powered, although it's not currently. I'm in park. There we go, now I'm in drive. It's dead silent, of course. The wheels did not come in how I had hoped they would with their fancy hologram aesthetic, but I mean, what do you expect? Importing it into BeamNG, I'm not expecting everything to work perfectly. The front end is also seriously lumpy at the top there in BeamNG, which is a bit funky. But it definitely does what I hoped it would do. It is just a weird looking thing going down the road. It actually gives me, from the front end, if you look kind of like this, it looks like an RX-8. That was not intentional. But boy, is she quick. It's just a rocket ship. And it has terrible understeer. Really, really bad understeer, my goodness. This car is a rocket, though. This is so much fun. I admittedly just built it for the aesthetics, but I feel like the speed is justified by the setting as well. Although it is supposed to be Tokyo, so I guess you wouldn't necessarily be able to drive something quickly. Do they even have cars? I haven't made it far enough in the game to know if they have cars yet. Honestly, in the game, I am taking my time. I basically just rescued the witch, and I'm like half an hour past that, maybe a little bit more. So, yeah, I still have some playing to do. Boys, this is going to be a slight thing for those who are invested in this channel and who have been watching me for a while, especially if you watch some of my recent videos. In the original one of this car as well, I believe, is the one where I talked about that I had lost my job. Well, great news. Last week, I was signed an offer at a new company. It's basically the same thing I was doing before, and yeah, just a little bit further of a drive with a significantly larger company, but hopefully it'll be okay. I've been very fortunate to not be off for long, and financially this hasn't affected me at all due to severance, so overall, just a huge blessing, and thank you for everybody who's thinking about me. Praying for me, I saw the comments. I appreciate you guys a lot, so thank you. I'm back to work soon, which means less videos, I know, but it does mean that my family is stable again, so yeah, I guess that's more important. My dream is still to make YouTube videos full-time. That would be the dream, but that's just not how it is, and I'm not ready for that yet. I gotta work, so that's what I'm doing. Going back to work full-time next week, and I'm excited for it. I'm sad because I'm not gonna be able to spend as much time with my family, my kids, but I'm happy to be financially in the positive again, so it's all good. Another thing that's been going on in the background, I guess maybe it's Christmas time, but I've been getting a ton of game keys sent to me, and Ninja Gaiden not being an exception to that. Another one, The Outer Worlds, we're going to get into that too, which is hilarious because I made fun of that game in my Nissan rant video. But I played it and it's not bad, so I'm going to do a video on that too. Another themed build. And then also a new series, hopefully going to start that up too, just quick videos on racing indie games that I like. I complained in my last video that all racing games are the same these days, so why don't I decide to be a bastion of change and uplift some of these indie games that are unique. So that's basically what I'm going to do, just very quick, like probably under 10-minute videos, showcasing some indie games, mostly when I don't have time to do a full automation video like this one. These take a couple hours to make, something like that indie game thing, hopefully less than 2 hours, we'll see. That's an evening build instead of a couple days like these are. But yeah, guys, thank you for watching these videos. Hopefully you enjoy them. I'm really trying to do some different stuff on this channel. Automation to me is no longer just a game by itself, but it is a modeling engine to be used to make whatever you want. And that's sort of what I've been thinking of it as. I think that's the best way to approach that game for the future. As instead of just being a game by itself, as something that is where you can bring your dreams to life, essentially. Almost like, well, there's a lot of games like that these days. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm definitely happy to be back making this stuff, and I hope you guys are enjoying it too. I've been talking too much. Thank you for watching. I'll see you again next time. I can't turn... The understeer is too strong to be able to go into that pole. We'd have to find something else. Oh yeah, IRL... hold on. Death. IRL videos are not done yet. I just decided to, instead of putting out little ones frequently, I want to do like a big one every once in a while. So it'll be like the full build of the Tiburon exhaust instead of just one part of it. That's what I intend to do with that now. So hopefully that kind of brings things forward instead of just putting out little videos that nobody watches. I'd rather do something where I actually complete something. And that's kind of the goal. But right now, I haven't got the time. See you again soon. Wow, this thing is wiggly.